all, hi everyone. I am Tamiko Harvey. I am the Vice President of the Black Travel Alliance, and we are so excited for this webinar today. We want to thank Meta, Facebook, Instagram for hosting this webinar today on all things Reels. I mean, what a way to kick off the new year than to be learning about Reels from Facebook. Like, oh my God, I am like so excited today. You all do not understand. So, and content creators, we are excited to have you here. This is an exclusive event. We only had a few tickets available each day. So those of you all that got those coveted tickets, stay tuned because we have about 3 more webinars that are going to come up with Meta this year. So be on the lookout for that. We want to know what you learned today. So tag us, tag Meta, tag Instagram, so that once you all go and learn everything and you create those reels so that we can see what you were able to do after today's session. That is what this is about, helping you guys. We all want to do better and they are here to help us. And so with that being said, I want to introduce Scott. He is the creative director of Meta. And Jess, she may be on as well. She is Scott's right hand, and they are both going to be teaching us about Reels, what it takes to grow Instagram, and what they want to see from us. And they also want to know what we need from them. And so it's a collaborative partnership with Meta and the Black Travel Alliance and how we can help our members grow. And so we are just so excited to have them here. Make sure you all ask questions. They want us to be interactive. Please do not be afraid to jump on screen right now. We only have 2 people that are like, yes, I want to be on screen. I am ready to learn. Everybody else is sitting over. They're a little afraid. They're not really sure. But if you want to get on screen and you want to have your phone with you, because this is going to be not just a presentation, but it's going to be us actually learning in real time. So guys, please, if you want to jump on screen when it's time, do so. Take advantage of this once in a lifetime opportunity that we have here. And with that said, I'm going to put it over to Scott.
That was the best setup ever. Like, I feel like it's still the Super Bowl and you just brought me and Jess on. Thank you. First of all, thanks. There's Jess Strode, my awesome partner in crime here. So just a little bit about what we do before I get into what we're going to do for the day, which is exciting for us too. So Jess and I work within Meta, as Tamiko said, like on a specific group called Creative Shop. And our job every day in and day out, is to work with the travel brands that build work, drive success for their brands across our platform. So this is also an opportunity, I think, for us, not only to learn together on Reels, learn from you all, but like hopefully this could lead to some opportunities for us to partner too. I think we spend so much time focusing on educating the clients on our platform. We oftentimes don't do enough of a good job talking to the people that are creating, which is you all. So we've done this before. Historically, we did in real life. We did when Instagram stories came out. We really had a lot of fun with this thing called Story School. It really took off and it was really fun and engaging. Jess and I are going to do our best to do it over the virtual space. But yeah, this is, like Tamiko said, this should be, I'm going to set this up with just like a bit of information on sort of what we're seeing specifically across Reels. Hopefully, if y'all feel like you're an expert at Reels, that's great because we need you to raise your hand and like help us. Hopefully you'll learn something new too. And then for people who have just not gotten in there as much and want to go deeper and sort of understand, there's a lot of new things, a lot of tricks. I will say, full disclosure, just we're playing with this morning, and certain things that I have on my Reels, like functionality, like Jess didn't have on hers. So that's always the case because Instagram is always testing new things internally and externally. So look, most of the stuff we're going to cover, everyone should have access to, but like once we get to the interactive portion, I'm going to let everyone chime in. And if there's something specific, you're like, wait, I don't even see what you're talking about, say something, because then we can augment the learning to people who may not have that specific thing. We're not going to go so deep that it should be very general and helpful to everyone. So again, like, goal of today is I'll give you a little like 5-10 minute intro to what we see, a little bit of inspiration, and then we're going to get into it. And that's where I hope that everyone will just, it's like on these presentations, like, are you on your phone? I want you to be on your phone. Like, be on your phone. Like, we might get up out of our seats and like create some films. You might have, like, if everyone's like recently filmed something or captured something, we're going to showcase like playing with those kind of assets too. It's super flexible. It doesn't have to be exactly the way these demos work. We want you all to like learn, but also be able to maybe, play with your own content today. So I'm just going to get into it. Jess, by the way, Jess and I both, like I said, we work at Creative Shop. I've been here 6 years. I started out on Instagram, focused only on Instagram when there wasn't really much of an ad platform other than static images. And I've been through different groups along the way, and now lead travel. So Jess and I's focus is literally just the travel vertical. We branch out and learn from like entertainment and other groups, but that's kind of our role. Jess, do you want to talk a little bit about you while I pull this up?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I've been at Meta 2 years and started on the travel team, went to a few other teams, came back recently. This is my family right here. I used to be a travel creator before I had kids, and now we'll see if it comes back. So if you went to my handle, you'd have to scroll quite a ways to get past children and things and find the goods. But used to play this game. Maybe one day we'll do family travels.
You'll be back. All right. So I'm just going to share screen.
I'm going to jump off the screen. I'm going to jump off, and then it will just be you two. And then if you all need me, I will be in the background.
Awesome.
Thank
you. All right. Let me say, just give me a audible yes if you see what I'm saying.
See it. Full screen, gorgeous.
Okay, cool. So here we are, Real School. Hey everyone. It feels like if there is school, oftentimes like kids are like, I don't want to go to school. This is fun school. Okay. This is not, we already introduced ourselves. Jess and I, we work on team travel. Reels has been around for a while. Let's be clear. We know this trend started on TikTok and is definitely, something that we've adopted, but we see such energy around this space. It's a new experience. It gives people, creators, businesses the power to create short form, entertaining videos. And video, if you watch, even our executive leadership on Instagram talking about the future of Instagram, it's short form video. They keep saying it, they keep talking about it, and there's a huge community around this. Again, what we're going to focus on today is just highlighting sort of how those things work, but we do want to just kind of go over all the ways that you can connect through, Reels. You can obviously through feed, you can do visual storytelling. It does pop up in feed. So that's sort of not where it started. It was exclusively to Reels. It's also, a diary of your everyday. Like it can be a story. You can recap like, hey, here's what's going on. And it's a way for you to kind of connect in a really short form, easy way to your community, to who you're talking to your audience, in a lighter weight way than maybe full on video production or those kind of things. You can entertain, the Reels is actually in a way, entertaining on a global stage now, because now it's even bigger and better. Whereas, like I said, stories was more, hey, here's what I'm doing each day. Reels is much bigger. And then there's live too. I don't know if you guys have experimented with live at all, but Reels kind of fits into these spaces and it's expanding. I think, Jess, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can now do even more with Reels. It was just, relegated to sort of a certain part. Now, you can kind of remix any video, not just a reel. And so we're continuing to grow and expand sort of the power of reels. If you think about what the tools offer, and we're going to dive into some of these today into more depth, I think there's kind of two sections, like the personality and bringing out more personality and giving you the tools to add personality, whether it's music and audio, right? A lot of custom audio is being created. And then obviously like, actual amazing songs and stuff. We'll get into the music licensing piece because that's important. Visual is another place where you can add personality, whether it's something that like you have an AR effect that adds just a really great skin or, effect or filter to your vibe, to your video. Like maybe it looks like, old school VHS, or it's got sparkles all over it, or it's an actual AR like filter with like glasses or something like that. Like those things add to the personality of the film, add to you as a storyteller, and are really easy to access and play with. And then the editing tools, I will say, I'll be the first one to say, when I first started using the editing tools, when Reels came out, I was like, wow, this feels really hard. It's gotten easier. Trust me, we're going to go through it. We're going to work through how it kind of works. Just like anything, it just takes a little getting used to, but it's definitely has the ability to, create not only the pre-production part, like, or in Reels, like if you're filming and you want to edit in real time, it can all be done in the camera. But we'll call this out a lot, like, playing with content, bringing it in and then editing it, within Reels is another key thing. So whether it's post-production or pre, it works great. And then the community, there's a ton of trends that are obviously surfacing, and there's ways to sort of tie into those, be authentic, be relevant, and sort of work, build on those trends or create some of them. And then now with this ability to remix and other things like engaging co-creation, like you can do things where you start something and then everyone builds on your idea to go deeper. So again, we'll cover these things from a executional standpoint of how to play with those. But we can talk about things that we've seen from brands, from creators, from different things like within the space. So obviously integrate Reels into your Instagram video strategy. Like we all have different approaches. Like some of you may have like a great system for how you capture, footage when you're on a trip or where you're going or whatever. And maybe it's, really well curated. Maybe you have sort of all these other tools you're adding to it. Like Instagram, a Reel should be a much lighter way to integrate. These are just things that we try to think about all the time, connect with people, get discovered, flex a different side of yourself, and reimagine the possibilities. So engaging with their interests, get discovered by Instagram's vibrant community. There's more opportunity gets discovered. I mean, look, I think if there's an advantage to TikTok, like my kids are on TikTok and it's like some of their videos have really blown up. The algorithm really works from a discovery standpoint. But I think Instagram, if you think theoretically about like where it fits in the world of social, people are following you for a reason, right? You get a follow, like there's more of that loyal fan on Instagram. There's still, now what Reels is trying to do is give you more of an opportunity to be discovered by new audiences. So I think that's a huge part of what we're trying to do in sort of giving both. You definitely got your loyal audience and your loyal fan, but is there an opportunity to become discovered as well? Flex a different side of your brand and personality, like what we've seen, work on other spaces doesn't, at least from an ad standpoint, doesn't always work, in short form video. Like, things that maybe are like really well curated and like brands have discovered this pretty quickly. It's like highly polished, curated stuff doesn't always perform as well on Reels as something that's maybe more, lo-fi or relatable or feels like a little more handmade and that kind of thing. So, that's another thing. It's like, if you have a certain approach, don't be afraid to like push into sort of a different side of your brand, personality, and who you are. And then obviously just tactically reimagine the possibilities of 916 video. Everyone's shooting mobile first, so we don't need to belabor that too much. There are some updates here, but this is Reels ads, just to be clear. I'm going to go into the actual interface of the organic product in a minute, but this is Reels ads. And just so everyone knows, this is a product that we launched not too long ago, maybe I think mid last year. And first time there were ads in the platform, first time there's opportunity to, for you all to create and then maybe get, a client to partner with you on an actual Reels ad. So the length is up 30 seconds. It's now 60 seconds for organic. I'll show you that in a second. And then it's still 916 with a CTA. Obviously, we always recommend sound on. It's not required. But what we see across Reels, it's sort of obvious town, but like audio is sort of on more often, like on any other space. Stories, we were seeing it more, but definitely within Reels, people have their sound on. And then this is tactical, but from a paid standpoint, like you can do paid ads against reach, brand awareness, video views, conversion, traffic, and app installs. And then there's a ton of different buying options. But the engagement tools, when you get into the Reels ad, are likes, comments, and shares. You can see your brand's handle, and then there's a CTA option. So again, this is paid. So what your client would, or you might even run it as an ad.
Can I just add?
Yeah, please.
It's being released this week, so new news to many people is overlays are coming. So again, if you are working with a brand, or if you are, say, destination marketing, you can lean even more into Reels. That's all about the native storytelling experience, but then have overlay that's might be more hard hitting, like book now or see more information, what have you. And so in thinking about branded content, imagine, you work with X partner, they do sponsored content with your Reels, but then they can have control over the overlay. So it creates more control on both ends for the creators and the brands in that partnership moment, because they have more control then on what they're driving to. Anyway, maybe that's too complex, but it's coming, and it creates new opportunities to think about how you partner with brands.
I love that, Jess. I mean, another thing that we're experimenting with, and I think some of it might even be, this is not directly connected to Reels. I think it's more of a stories thing, but may come to Reels, is we're developing these stickers that you can that creators can use for a brand, and then it can link to a thing. So like you'd get a few stickers. Again, this is like on the roadmap and being worked out. I don't know when it's going to roll out, but speaking of future things, Jess, like there's a lot of innovation around these spaces where what our teams are doing is creating tools that make it easier for you to work with brands and connect with brands and drive brands' business objectives too. So like we're here as a resource too. When those things come out, like we can reconnect with your group and your teams and kind of share the new as well. I put this out here, like this is just more of a FYI. Like this may not come up as an issue at all, but like music usage, just so everyone understands, of course, music is a huge part of Reels. Everyone's played with this. We're going to play with this today, where you can like add a sweet track to your story or your Reel and do it. We just always put this out here because when you're working with brands, they can't just automatically use the track you use unless it's licensed and procured by the brand. So even in an organic post. So that's just something to remember, like that the platform doesn't sort of like have the rights to use these songs with brands without, just proper music rights and all that. So that's just more of a FYI. We don't need to go too deep on that.
Is Scott frozen or am I frozen? This is the question.
Hold on.
Scott is frozen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we lost Scott. I think he's frozen. Text him and tell him to refresh his screen.
I will do. Looks like he jumped off. So hopefully
Yeah.
he's back on.
While he's getting ready to come back on, will everyone have access to the overlays?
So it's actually an ad product.
Oh, that's just for ads right now. Okay.
But it's good to know in thinking about how you might partner with a brand, right? Hey, Scott.
Sorry
Or
about
even
that.
just for a regular reel, if you want to click, like if someone has a blog post, I was asking her, would everyone have access to the overlays where you could say, learn more about the reel? Say if I had a blog post about things to do in whatever destination, and then there was a learn more, and then it went to the blog post.
Let me double confirm. I think it might just be an ad format, but I'm gonna go look.
It's so far in ad format, that's correct. But
Okay.
I think, and I think it may go the way of links in stories. I mean, now you don't have to be, if y'all do Instagram stories, you know that there's now the link sticker, right? Have you guys seen that? And
Yeah.
you can drive people to your blogs or whatever. That used to be, that started as just, you know, swipe up, right? If you think about it, that was like ads only. And then it went to, I think there was a moment where it was just for people who were verified, and now it's available for everyone. So hopefully, to your point, Tamika, it will have a similar rollout. Maybe not immediately though.
Okay. Let's see.
Great time for a question break. I froze. How am I looking now? Am I moving? Right.
You look like a gray box, sir. I don't know if you share your screen, it might work.
Let's see. Let's try it again. Share. Okay, how's that? Can you all see where we left off here?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is, now we're getting into it, y'all. Like now we're starting talking about the Reels interface. So again, I caveated this, like, don't worry if you don't have like exactly everything, but recently in the last, 3 to 6 months, things have changed a little. Like there's now much, if you look at the middle, this effects button, like we're going to go into that today and sort of show you how that can work and how you can find effects and add effects. Obviously, audio is sort of consistently there, like setting your music. Once you pick a song, you have the ability to use that song. That song kind of sticks in there. You'll see like a little mini icon of like the song always. So sometimes I get tripped up and I'll pick a song and I'll do an edit or a cut or something. And I'll be like, oh man, scratch all that. I'll delete everything. And that song's still in there. So you do have to kind of go back in and either deselect that song or pick a new one. Length is something that I talked about. There's 3 lengths. You can do a 50, a 15 second, a 30 second, and now with organic, up to 60. So that's fairly new. Speed we'll get into. I'm bad at like 1x and understanding like what it means. But when you pop up that dialog box, essentially what comes up is like 1x is always normal speed. And then anything that's like 0.5x or 0.3x is just slower, right? So you're going to be moving in slow motion when you go to the decimal points. And then anything higher is going to be faster. So I think it's 2, 3, and 4x. Those are like speeding up, and we'll get into some experiments with time lapse and those kind of things. Layout, again, this is something that you maybe didn't have access to. So I'll show you kind of an example of how that works. It's kind of fun. Like you can really break up the space. You can record something in one part of the frame and then record something in another part of the frame and kind of put it all together. And then timer, what I love about timer is it allows you to sort of like focus in on, a time in which you want to record a certain section, but it also lets you go hands-free and it's like a little countdown, which is great. Hey, we were just talking about time. Look at this. It goes up to 60 seconds. That's me being surprised by it. And then 15 and 30. Cool. when it comes to there's what I just said. The 0.3 is again slower, 0.5 is slower, and then anything above that is like super speed. And these are just things you can test too. Like you can try them and see how it looks, and then try it again and be like, no, delete that. I want to do it at slow speed or whatever, and play with it. And that's what we're going to do today. The thing that we're showing on the right now, there's this thing, and again, I hope everyone has it. Layout, you can see how it has sort of like a sub menu in there. So layout, and then once you tap on that, you can change your grid, which is either like split screen. I'll show you a few examples on the right videos. It's like split screen. It's the one that you see here, which is more sort of like top and bottom split. And I just did a quick demo here where I could record myself up top. I took my hat off so I look different. And then I record myself at the bottom and then make it look like I'm interacting and weirded out by the double of me. By the way, I'm a twin, so this is not, this is technically not really that weird at all. And then you can go further into it and kind of play with the formats. Like Jess was talking about, like maybe you tell a story, this is really bad, but you can do 3 screens. Maybe you do like what looks like an interview style, like with 2 different people. That's close up where you can really zoom in, kind of creepy. But those are kind of the features of layout. Like you split it, and we can play with it if you guys want to. We have a couple other things we're going to do, but like if we want to end on that, we can play with that kind of new feature within it. So a lot of flexibility. The way that it works is, again, very simply, you kind of start recording one section while your bottom section is just more of a live space. And then you can film that. And then it gives you a second chance to set up your bottom frame and film that. And then it's one clip. So it's kind of a fun thing to experiment with. Jess, anything to add on layout?
No.
Other than it's fun. Okay. These are just a few creators in the space that we wanted to call out, and just some interesting ways. Obviously, like this first person is a big creator. She does a ton of stuff on @creators, Karen Chang. She's amazing. And this is just a really fun drone story she did where she kind of blows wind at a thing. Obviously, there's some post work here because, there's no way the drone got that high. But kind of a nice little way of doing something, then cutting to a transition where they go to sort of like a Google Maps view with some clouds, and then created a nice thing for United. Just kind of interesting way of playing with perspective. There's a ton of creators in the space that just do really interesting things with video and drones and different ways of getting shots. Obviously the transition, right? Like for travel, hey, you're in this awesome place. Like Anikwa is, y'all know her, I'm sure. She's amazing. And I just love how, it's really thoughtful. It's really simple, the way the transition happens. I think, the more you can kind of play with different techniques and different ways of doing that, it's not the only thing, right? You don't want this to be the only thing in your toolkit, but it's fun to kind of play with ways of going from point A to point B. And one of the things that we're really experimenting with AR too, and we're going to get to AR in a second, is how to use AR to help you not only just yourself teleport to a new place with maybe a different background or something, but also give people a chance to interact in new ways, and you to tell stories with sort of that added element, that added production element of AR. The other one on the right here is just quick cuts, telling stories through different point of view. Definitely point of view is definitely something we see a lot in Reels, and it really performs really well. But this story is really just how many sort of destinations you can go, and kind of cutting back and forth between different points of view. And you can see it really tells a nice story. It really works. This was for Marriott. It was set to a voiceover for their commercial, but it was really just kind of following this person throughout. And then, the tutorial on how to make these things. This is for, a creator that works with a lot of car brands, but how they kind of break down each shot. And then at the end, they show you kind of how they go from, these transitions and tell a really cool, sweet story. So again, even just with your phone, you can, hopefully some of this is just more inspiring than anything. So this is recently, I just let that play because, sound on was happening. But recently we were talking to Delta, who we work with, and they wanted to do something with Remix, but work it out through like a paid, through paid. And so they were like, how do we do this? How do we create sort of an ecosystem? But what I loved about this one is just like the simplicity of the idea of like Triumph being a universal language, and then getting creators to share sort of how they show Triumph. And it was like a very beautiful film, but then the complement to it is all these other creators doing their thing and showing how they celebrate success. So still, I would say like on the one end, like the polish is high, and this feels like a commercial, but like it was really neat how they were able to sort of build off of this. And again, this is another tool that within Reels that we can talk about and showcase today is like, creating remixes and those kind of things. Like, can you start something that's a simple idea and get people to build on it around travel? Can you do something where you start and somebody's in one destination, right? And then they pass something to you and you're in another destination, and you get a group of, creators to like continue it on around the world. It's just adding sort of like taking the idea of Remix and then building on it. And we're going to showcase some examples later of this too. One other example more recently is just thinking about sound and audio. And I love this example because Sonic was going to launch this bursting bubbles drink, this sort of new slushy drink with like these boba bubbles in it. And they were like, cool, we'll just like talk to, our typical creators that we always use for, new things and new drinks, like food creators and different people based on our audience. And what we were like, wait, there's something more to this idea here around the fact that these are bursting bubbles. There's like an audio component to it. Can we recommend working with a creator that does music? So what they did was they partnered with this guy, Hugo, who built kind of these short form videos that all had different, musical aspects to them. And that went into an instant experience. And then the rest of the videos were like the one in the middle, this brand music performance one, was really just a demo of how they created it. They rigged all the cups to different sounds. And then they built kind of a really neat ecosystem of like the branded content plus the video stuff to sort of, drive success. And again, this was about bringing sort of like up-leveling that creative idea around the idea of sound and playing with sound, which was really cool.
We're going to be making some music by drinking
those are all of
delicious
those.
beverage.
Oh, speaking of sound, this is like not ready for prime time, but since Jess and I are like showing you kind of the new thing, this feature is potentially I say, coming to Reels, and it's a super fun feature. We've been playing with AR and the ability to control sound, but you can see this is not live yet, but it's kind of a cool thing where eventually we might be able to use our hands to like control the audio and sound. And so again, Jess and I talk about like, we have apps that have certain things that are like NDA internal only. Obviously we're, in a safe space here, but we can share this stuff. But it's kind of cool to see like AR and music coming together in the future, and being able to like, as a person creating in Reels, control the sound, the volume, and do more with sort of, that augmented reality. Want to just throw that out there because it's fun. So now we're going to get into actually the interactive portion, but I do want to pause for maybe any questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just see if there's anything from that beginning that y'all wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so there were a few questions that we have. One is, everybody says that 10 seconds for Reels is sort of the magic length of time. Is there some validity to that? I know it goes up to 30 seconds, but we all are probably under the impression that 10 seconds is the sweet spot. Is that true, or is that all made up in our minds that is the sweet spot?
Jess, you go and I'll build on you. What you have to say.
I think you should think of that 10 seconds as, if you haven't caught their attention, they're no longer paying attention. But you can go up to 60 seconds, and sometimes you have something to show or a story to tell. And actually, we say 3 seconds, by the way. First 3 seconds is your time to hook them and keep them. But yeah, so think of it less about shorter the better and more about how do you use those first seconds to really pull people in.
Okay. So it is really if you haven't gotten them by the first 3 seconds, you're not going to have them by 10 seconds. So it's really not going to matter how long or how short the reel is, because it's really the hook in the very beginning that is going to get people to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always said front load as much as you can. I mean, I think it's just in the way you tell your story. Look, let's be honest. Jess and I work in the space of like advertising, and by a show of hands, how many watch the commercials? Most of those commercials, like the reveal or the thing, comes at like second 26, and you're forced to sit there and watch it because I have no other control. When I'm on my phone and flying through TikTok or Reels, I have full control. So look, we're not telling you to go against sort of like what your brand is, what your personality is, but like hopefully some of these things will be the foundation of like making in Reels, and then we can show you like fun things to like hook people and get people engaged. Look, we're not saying clickbait, but like bring people in. Is it motion? Is it type? You know, one of the things we see work really well, and this is like, so everyone's doing it, but even just like telling a story with type on screen and pointing to it, or using type overlay and those kind of things to get your message and to hook people like into what you're doing or where you are, or, you know, versus like waiting, you know. And then again, what's the other thing I've felt like, we worked with a bunch of comedy creators that were like the born on Vine, and they came over to our platform and were really blowing up on Instagram. This was like 2 or 3 years ago. And consistently what I heard from them was like, look, I test stuff. I try different things. I see what works. Like if I'm doing a bit and it's getting a few likes and, you know, I'm seeing people fall off after that first time, I'll try something else, or I'll reformat it in a way that, you know, and then once you get to maybe a couple things that work, it's not like overdo them over and over again, but then you get a sense of like, okay, this seems to be resonating. This seems to be resonating. Let's try something and build on that. So like having a more test and learn approach is always something we recommend.
Can I add to that? Because I'm seeing a bunch of questions come into that realm of test and learn. So there's the question about suppression. What about trending songs? There isn't suppression. There is a growth in usage, 633% growth in the past quarter. Like that's insane. So I think there's just more activity around that is easily discoverable. I love the trending song question, because in terms of discoverability, and Reels is becoming more and more of a way to be discovered versus just hashtags. Hashtags was like the core tool for discoverability before Reels. But, you know, if you lean into something that is catching a little bit of fire, whether it's a song or a behavior or an effect, that is a good way to drive discovery, because it's just how the algorithm works. And I've been noticing, if I'm scrolling in Reels and I pause on something and then I go to open up and create a Reels myself, it will immediately suggest, why don't you try X song or X effect? And it's basing it off of the last Reels I was looking at. So I think, like we were saying, functionality is always evolving. But right now, when you're in there, you might see, if you watch a Reel that you love or want to mimic, if you then open up the create tool versus continue scrolling, you'll probably get suggestions based on what you were just looking at to drive your content, which is all meant to feed discoverability, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, just to hit some of the questions too. I mean, I hear you on views being dismal, but I think it's back to what we were saying about around like testing and trying different things. I see from May's Family Travel or having text on pictures in Reels, seen that a lot lately. I assume you're talking about like static. Like I see that a lot too. Like not just feeling like everything has to be a video clip. It's like if you integrate like quick cuts of like a couple destinations with some text. I think text is key because it's context. It's context. I didn't mean to say that and make it sound weird, but like text is context because it does allow you to understand, wait, what the hell is this? Where are they? Like these things happen fast. We assume that humans are able to like absorb all the things you're saying at the same time. But what we've learned, you know, Jess and I in our years of working here is that like, the more direct and clear you are, you can still be creative, but like get to the thing you're doing quickly, and text helps communicate that, you know?
There's some more questions over here. Let's see. How do you find trending songs?
There's now, let's go, Jess, you know.
No, if you go into the search function, you go into audio, it will give you suggestions.
So everybody pull out your phones and
Get out your phones.
Let's pull up Reel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then
if you open up audio, there's For You. So it's funny, my whole thing is influenced by things we've been working on, like Encanto, the movie.
Yeah, I have
like my algorithm has really shifted right now. But if you scroll in, there's For You. So there will be suggestions based on what you've listened to before. There's new releases. There's original audio, which, by the way, give back to other creators. Original audio is a great way to build creator community. And so there's different categories once you go into music.
So when you
there's
go
even
into music,
featured up top. Do you guys have that? Which is
mine
now
says saved and import, and then just the search bar.
There's no For You.
Oh yeah, I do. Yes, it is. I do see For You. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you keep scrolling, you'll get more. And again,
Okay.
This is sort of like, this is some of the space that's getting getting updated the most now, because it's like, okay, we need these areas to be more robust. And I mean, I mentioned reactive audio. I don't think anyone has that, but that's where that hand thing I showed you was like, it's filled. Once you get it, it's filled with like music where you can control the levels and stuff with your movement. That's coming. That's not something you all have, but For You, I would say, to your point, to the question, new releases. And then if you have that featured bar, you can scroll through, like, you know, they've got like background music, you know, and they've got, you know, featured artists and those kind of things too that you can
So
discover.
is the For You music, is that the trending music?
For You is based on you. Sorry.
Oh, it's
Jessica.
based on you. Well, what about the trending music? Because I know they have those arrows, and we're always looking at that little arrow that's down at the bottom, which means that it's trending up.
Trending.
Where do we find the trending music? Or
I would say new releases is what I see as the space, but
okay.
Yep.
But I don't think we have a trending section. Which
okay. I think that is what everybody is asking. Is there a trending section? Because we always see, you know, saying these are the top songs that's trending, but I thought it was me because I was always looking for a trending section, and I thought I just didn't have it.
No, I think that's more it's a clue to creators of, this is a trending song. You might want to click here and create with this song too. It's more of like, you know,
once you see it, yeah. I mean, you can type in trending. It's just not, I don't know if we're not using that language or we're just not like calling that out. I'm sure there's a reason that we're not creating a section like that, but.
Yeah, because I know.
Because you want the hotness is what you're saying.
Is what, yes.
You want what's hot.
Yeah. let's see. Also, if you look on your reel, you can see an arrow beside the audio. That means it's trending, which is how I normally find. This is what someone says here, which is how I normally find the trending sounds. But inside of the app itself, there's not a section specifically that says trending
Nope.
audio. Okay, got it.
Not currently.
Okay. Someone says, can you show us the arrow? I've never seen it.
I'd have to find. Do you have a reels that's trending handy? I'd have to find one.
No, but I do want to show. Where'd it go? Okay, this
It's
is not
you know what I. Yeah, go.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to find a song now. So bottom corner will show you music. This isn't a trending one, but bottom corner is the tagged music. When you open it up, you can also see everything that's attached to that audio. So what's also useful is you could, like, let's say there's a track you like and you're curious if it's trending, you can open it up and see what people are doing with it, right? So like, what are the behaviors around that track that might influence what you do? I will say though, in consumer research, we have found that there is some serious fatigue around the same stuff showing up in reels. Like, it's funny because the algorithm and trending and discoverability often relies on behaviors that are mimicable. But then as consumers, we get sick of the same thing. And so I would suggest, look at tracks that are gaining momentum, or an effect that's gaining momentum, or even a behavior, but put your own spin on it. Like, make it feel fresh and your own, one, for your personal brand, but two, to avoid that fatigue and being skipped over because of any fatigue, if that makes sense.
And I don't know, someone was asking, like down here at the bottom of my screen, there's a little teeny arrow that is right there. And that's what we're all talking about, that says trending. So normally when I see that, I'll click on it and save it. And then try to come back and use that later. So Stephanie, that is where the trending arrow is. So when you see that little arrow, that means that audio is trending.
Yeah, and then you should at the top, I don't know if that's where Tamiko saves her thing. See how you have saved? You can tap on saved, and then there you can keep them all in there.
Okay. Let's see. Any other usually questions? I think we got through. Somebody wants to know, how do you know if your account has been shadow banned, and can tagging brands without a formal partnership with them cause that?
I mean, I don't know the answer to the shadow ban question. I will say we have a lot of, FMP partners that work with, creators that tag other brands just to get noticed. So there's definitely on our end, as far as we're aware of, there's no connection to that causing that, because it's actually I would argue a best practice to, tag a brand and be like, hey, look what I'm doing in your hotel.
And what about, how important are hashtags with reels?
It's hard to answer that. It can help, especially if you're either demonstrating a specific location or trying to build on a conversation that isn't always happening in reels. But hashtags won't necessarily define your discoverability in reels, if that makes sense.
Oh, so hashtags are not as important as we think they are. Really, it's the first 3 seconds of the video that is going to determine discoverability, versus adding all of the hashtags in the caption portion or in the, I
think of it as a formula. Hashtags still play a role, especially for like niche conversations and communities. But now it's hashtag plus the audio track, plus the effect you're using, plus how interesting your content is. Is it keeping people watching? And so it's more of an equation.
The totality of everything. Now, one other question before we move forward. Do the effects cause the videos? We've heard this as well, that sometimes the effects cause the videos not to be as, I guess, clear, and sometimes people don't like the effects, or that cause you not to show up, because we've heard that as well. Is there any validity to that? Probably not, I would say, since you all are looking like, no, I don't think so.
No, but
I mean,
just
what
like
I would
audio,
you go, Jess.
Oh, I was just gonna say, just like audio, there's trending effects. And there are effects that add to storytelling first attracting, but there isn't, like, I don't know any science or proof around certain effects deterring engagement.
Yeah, and Nadine just said, yeah, I've heard that effects cause less views too. That's something that we always hear, not to use the effects, because the effects cause you to have less views, but I didn't know how true that was. I stopped using them because that is a rumor that is always going around, is don't use effects in your reels.
Wow. This is what I love about this conversation. It's like, we didn't know that. So I think we should also surface that with our teams and to help understand why. What I would say, just to back up what Jess said, is like, whatever you're doing to your story, whether it's, effects or whatever, just like make sure there's a reason, right? Like there's a reason to use them. I would say, like, I have there's a friend of mine in New York who's like a fitness influencer, and as part of his brand, he uses the same it's always sort of majority of the time it's that fisheye lens on his camera,
that blurry. I like that one. Yeah, that's my favorite.
And then he has a pretty specific, I think it's something he probably used built in Canva or something, where it's a template like with just like a frame and it adds a little bit of like, and then he uses an effect, right? Like it's got a patina to his video. That's just consistently how he shows up in reels. His feed stories are very specific too. They're very much like, here's a workout, here's a workout, here's a workout, right? But when he tells his story in reels, it's a little more, but then there's a consistency to that too. So again, I think in some ways there's no reason to create that as much in reels, because there's look, it is more about getting discovered. I think, like, if people follow you, that consistency is important in stories, that consistency is important in feed and in reels. But again, like, if your objective is being discovered, I think it's bringing people in. So if a reel effect helps you pull people into that, first few seconds, like, test it and try it. But what we can do is come back with that meme or that reality or whatever it is and be like, why is that the feeling? What's that general feeling? And get you all an answer. Because I think that's a really important thing to call out. And it's clearly affected the behavior and how you share your stories. So that's good to know.
Okay, but then we're going to go ahead and let you move on to the next session, because we're all in these questions and answers. Okay.
That's so good, though. I love it. Like,
okay,
I mean, Jess and I don't have all the answers because we're not in every group on Instagram making all decisions. But if anything we can't answer, maybe we collect them, Tomiko, at the end, like any other hot things that y'all want to know. And we can at least kind of like, we have a lot of internal groups that we can ask these questions to and find better answers for.
Okay. Okay, then I'm going to let you go ahead and get back started. I'm going to jump back off stage.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's get reels. Or what was this called? Sorry, it's getting real. I gotta say, like, the thing. So this is the more interactive portion. So this is where everyone's gonna get out of their phones. So I am gonna pop kind of back and forth. If people want to get on and even share their screen, happy to do that. But as we do this, I think, one of the things we always say, and I kind of reiterated before, but like, just to ground us in what we're doing here today, like, this should be fun. There's some simple principles, like, create it. It's fun, it's fast, engaging videos with, a creative idea that connects to your brand and community. So again, that's sort of the idea of like the simple basic principle, but like, you know, is it unique? We talk about stopping people. Like, is it something unique that brings people in, but is still your, it is your voice. It's your unique voice in the world of Reels. Is it relatable? Something that people can identify with, you know, something that people go, oh my gosh, yes, that is exactly what I experienced the last time I went on a trip, or that is true. And making it sort of connect with, you know, something that's, you know, true to real life. And then, is it easy to recreate? I can do it. It's simple enough. You know, even just from the reality of creating, we know y'all are making stuff. Sometimes people have, like Jess just talked about it. Like, you know, she was a travel influencer. She was going around and now she's got, you know, a kid and all these other things. Like, you need it to be easy, and then simple is the same thing. So what we're going to do today is we're going to just play. This first one is hopefully super easy. We're going to tap into a few of the things that we called out within the interface. Specifically, we're going to create what looks kind of like a really easy time-lapse video with the slowdown effect. And then we're going to add some audio to kind of get a kind of vibe. And we're going to do this together. This is an example of something. As you can see, they've got sort of this setup with they're speeding up the video. So basically, they're recording themselves doing a normal thing, and then once they're done in 22 seconds, because they put the 4X feature on, when they play it back, it looks like this.
Eggs in the morning, I like mine with a kiss.
So you can see it's just like creating something really simple and then speeding it up and adding some music that feels like that sort of time-lapse vibe. So let's see. So the other thing that's really great about this is, if we want to make something, what I would encourage everyone to do, and again, I can't see you all, I'll go off and bring everyone back into just holding our phones, but I'm going to show what I did and show you how this works. I actually started this by going to the bottom tool, which is the timer tool, and I set like 8 seconds. I want my video to be 8 seconds. You can set it at 10, you can set it at whatever, but you can scale this thing back and forth. And once you set the timer, then once you start your video at that high speed rate, you can act in the video without holding it. It's hands-free. It'll give you a countdown. We'll do it together. It'll give you a little countdown, and then you can kind of walk and act and perform if you don't want to be holding your camera. The other thing you can do is you can pick a song beforehand, and it will play that song in slow motion, sort of at the speed. So you're kind of hitting those key beats, and you are actually slowing your motion down. You can do regular motion too, like it doesn't matter. But like, if you really want to, you'll see in this example, like I did 4X speed. I did like 7-8 seconds here. And I think the song I used was Do You Know the Way to San Jose? And as the timer goes down, the audio isn't on, but I'm like slow motion walking through, and I can hear the voice be like, do you know the way to San Jose? And I'm like, I actually don't. Me? Who are you talking about? And then I go, what? I don't know it, but I'm not doing it all in slow motion because I can hear the audio. We can play with that. You can do regular speed, whatever you want. So we're going to pause there, and we're just going to walk through that together, like how to do that all together. Let me stop sharing.
And if it's not clear, you can film and mess with the timing while you're filming in Reels, like Scott has done. You can also take footage you already have. Let's pretend you have a video of you and your friends running down the beach or jumping off a cliff into water, whatever. You can pull in that video and change the speed. You can also change the speed at different sections of the video as well.
Okay, so you can change the speed in both a new video and an old video that you already have. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're looking at the one that says the 1X. That's our time. So you want to, I mean, what I would encourage you to do either way, if you want to record something in Reels, just go to that button and crank it up to 4X, right?
Okay.
Because we're going to speed everybody up. I don't know why the math always confuses me. Like 4 times faster is how I always have to think about it. So you could literally, like, what I was going to do is just like, do some motion in here and play with it live. If to Jess's point, if you want to set the thing at 4x and then swipe up and pull in a video, you can also do that.
Okay.
But all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to record myself. Oh, actually, the other step I want everyone to take if you're recording yourself live is go to the timer at the bottom, the thing that looks like a stopwatch, and then set your time for length of video. That allows you to set your phone down, and it'll give you a countdown to like 3, 2, 1, and you don't have to hold and record at the same time. You guys all have that?
Yes.
It's so hard with the reflection. It's just something like that.
Okay.
And then you set that timer, and then you'll see that both those two things are checked. The 4x and the timer is highlighted. So I know that whatever I'm bringing in or whatever I'm recording, that will be applied to that section. Got it?
Got it. Okay. Okay. Nadine said she just did
They
it.
didn't did it. I just did it. So yeah, so I'm gonna, and then the other thing that I mentioned, you don't have to do it right now, but if you have a song in mind, if you select the song before you record yourself, it will play the song in slow motion so you can hit those beats in the song. And then when it plays back, you're like sped up, but you're kind of hitting those moments at the right time. Okay. And all of this is just fun to play with. Like last night, I was up until late hours of the evening, like just goofing around with it because you get it wrong. And the cool thing is you can go back and you can delete it and you can do it again, or you can keep doing it, try it one clip and then try it in another. And it just keeps building on the clips too. Okay. So we're not getting to editing. Don't feel like you're doing it wrong.
Someone said, which I am as well, someone said, I tried it with the video I already have, and it's not speeding up. I'm having that same issue as well. So I put a video in that I already have, but I made it to 4x, and it's the same video. It's the same, so it's not speeding up. Same
okay,
thing.
So what you have to do is once you bring it in, you should get this. Here's what I just did. So I just took, I've swiped up. I'm going to add this video, right? The one that I showed you guys. Okay. You'll get a speed thing. So you'll get speed and music to apply it. So you do have to change it there. You can't do it before. So then if you put that at 4x, you should see it moving faster now. Is it working?
Okay. So
it works a little different. When you're recording yourself, you just have to put it on. Yeah. So swipe up.
Oh, I have to swipe up? No. Well, hold on.
To get your, is that the video that's in there? Do you have a video in there?
Yeah, I had a video that's in there. So let me go back and
grab it
again. Let me go back and grab it. Okay.
You should get those two options when you do that.
Here it is. So the video is there.
Yeah, so you don't
have a bad video of me twerking. So,
oh my God, that's awesome.
So, but then when I go
now, try this. Okay, let's try this. Edit it down first. Let's try this because I have a different interface. I can literally change that once I swipe up. I went in,
and if you go, like if I go back to, and you can see it on there, it says 5. I don't know if you can see it, but it says 5 times speed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be slower.
Okay. But it, let me go.
Hit preview and see if
don't add the video, just open it up.
See, it's still the same length.
Weird.
And then if I go back and take, and if I go back and do 4 times speed and change,
it doesn't speed it up.
I'm going to walk through it and tell me if this is exactly what you're doing. Okay.
Okay.
So here, I just got regular screen. I'm going to say, okay, I want to add some media.
Yep.
I'm going to add my kid on a carousel.
Okay.
And then very light faint on the side. I have. You don't have
Yep.
that?
Yep.
I've got a speed option before I add it.
Oh, before you add it.
So here's super slow, but I haven't added it in yet. It's still in the like preview, and then I click add once I've chosen the speed.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna add it again. Somebody else, everybody is saying that they can't get it. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh boy,
everyone's having
gang,
the
I'm
same
sorry. That might be a us thing versus a
I know
public
it's
thing.
like it's so easy for us. Sorry.
So
I'm guessing it's
so, like,
coming.
I just added this one, and
Uh-huh.
there's like nothing. It just says add.
Oh boy. Bummer.
So it doesn't give you that option only when after it is done. Okay.
Well,
Let's keep going. And we will figure that part out. So, because we don't want to spend all the time on this, but that's something that we can come back to figure out why people aren't getting that, including myself. So we'll keep going.
Yeah, we'll follow up on that, you
not
guys.
cool
Like that
kids.
we will have an answer for that by end of day.
Stephanie,
Why
we're
the
not
hell
the
that's
cool
happening.
kids. Ursula said I don't have that option. Okay, well then we'll come
We're
back
not
to
the cool kids. Whoever said that, Stephanie, you're hilarious.
Yeah, like it's an internal versus external thing. Everybody's cool.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like though, yeah, there's gonna be an answer there. So we'll figure it out.
Okay, good. Okay.
So maybe for the sake of the fact that we don't have that, let's just record our faces.
Okay.
Or something in front of you, and let's play with it. Let's play with speed still, if you guys are cool with it.
So maybe I'll play with me pretending like I'm eating here. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, again, with the timer, if y'all want to get up, like you can walk, like I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to do a recording where I walk across frame, right? So I'm going to try that. I'm going to hit the timer. I'm just going to walk through frame. And I'm going to walk kind of slow.
Scott, you could just slow it down, you know.
Right.
But that's the fun part is that, yeah, you can slow it down. But what I'm going for, because I'm speeding it up, is sort of more of a funny vibe. See? It's very cartoonish.
So let me see what happens with mine. Okay.
Because 4 times is fast.
Oh, okay. Now that did it. When I did it, not bringing in the audio, but when I just
right
pre,
you brought it in pre versus post.
Yes.
Yeah. So then what I like to do with that, and like now I have this goofy video of me. Then what I like to do is, okay, cool. Maybe I'll edit out the back end. The cool thing is once it comes in, you can play with that clip and like trim it down. Then you can hit done, and then you can add the audio that you think goes with it. Like one of the things that was neat about the egg example is that swishing it around sort of added some like, intensity, and then the music added even more of sort of a vibe. So
got you. Okay. So that worked doing it live. That was with both the slow down and the speed up. Okay.
Good. Okay, great. And then again, like, if you like if I add, wait. So I just added,
right.
That's a feeling, especially after last night.
You a whole vibe, Scott. A complete vibe. Yes.
But then what's cool is if you do it the other way too, like if you pick the music first and you do the stopwatch as an option, it will play that super slow. So certain songs have like if I think of like, you know, the beginning of like Pump Up the Jam, it's like, dun, dun, you know, and you can hit those beats slower. And then when it speeds you up, you're in sync with the music too. So it's a nice feature to like pull the music in. You can always try different music and be like, oh, just like editors, like you're like, I don't know what music fits with this. You can explore and keep playing it back and try different ones. You can pick the song and do it the other way.
Got you. Okay, perfect.
Have you seen like where a lot of dancers will be like, it looks like they're like bum, and then all of a sudden their like body almost jumps into another movement, but it's, you can tell it hasn't been edited. It's because they've slowed down the track. So when they're moving, they like they're hitting the beats, but jumping physically quickly or into the next move. So now I'm getting nerdy, but like that's how they create that effect in reels, is by dancing slower to a slowed down track and then moving quickly within those spaces, which might have relevance in travel. I don't know, but that's how they do that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I did not. So then they recorded in slow and then speed it up to regular, and then it looks like it's hitting each single. Okay, got it.
It's definitely one of those things that you have to practice. Like,
Right.
it's not like, you know, as you can see, I was trying to slow motion walk and it was like, I had nothing to go off of. So it's definitely something you have to practice. I think that's actually a good segue to another one that might help in a lot of different ways. And I hope everyone, please God, everyone has this feature because it's kind of an important one, but it can apply to a few things and we can work with it. It's the, Jess, I'm going to skip effects because, you know, of the question we got and move to, let's do some stop motion. And I'm not saying this is like, you know, the stop motion here is not to show you all how to do like a level stop motion animation with creatures and clay. It is really just to kind of show you how to play with sort of another aspect of the thing. But Jess is going to point out how it can actually apply beyond my example to like where you're trying to get match cuts right. Like a lot of transitions we see are like we saw with Arnika. It's like, I'm here at the end of this, and then you get an onion skin so that when you're setting up your next shot, your head or positioning is, you can see it as a layer and you can match that. So I'll show you that next, and then we can play with that. So like I said, this is just going to be about, we're called stop motion, but it's just showcasing how this works. And so y'all should have this, please God. I made this thing on the left, which is just me basically taking video. I actually sped up the video here. But you can see once you start creating or filming, you should get this thing that, do you see that says align? And don't pull out, I mean, you can have your phone out or whatever right now, but like we're going to turn this off and I'm going to show you how the align tool works. But as you can see from the way I'm demoing it, I'm able to kind of do something, capture it if it's like a quick, you know, second of video, and then I can use the align tool to then realign my video to make sure my camera is lined up in the same spot every time. And that's if you're just kind of using freehand. A lot of times people are using tripods and they're set up, but even just positioning yourself, like I was saying, in sort of like, you know, where all of a sudden you're in a new outfit or whatever, like this align tool is really good. So let's play with that next. And we'll walk through it and make sure, hopefully, everyone has it. So, like I said before, if you want, what you can do, and we can do this, like if you want to take a piece of paper out and start making little thing, you know, and hovering, we can do it that way. You can just to show yourself. So what I did when I did the demo was just I took a piece of paper and a pen and started writing my name. And so if y'all want to try that, like get out a piece of paper and a pen and just write, you know, your Instagram handle or whatever it is. And then all you have to do is you start by, I'm going to keep my time on 4X because it does the high speed nature of like that helps because then it'll feel more like stop motion. But what I'm going to do is that's the only move I'm going to make. And I'm going to do it in camera and I'm going to draw something on a piece of paper. And then all I'm going to do is tap my record button once and then tap it again. So I'm really just capturing like a half second or a second of film. And then once I do that, so I'm gonna do this live while we're all here. So here we go. So I'm literally, all I'm doing right now is with the 4X on and the live camera, I'm just tapping the Reels button, hovering over a thing I just drew, the letter H, and I'm tapping it and I'm tapping it again. So I really just captured a second. But what happens is now that I've recorded something, I now have that awesome little onion skin. So then what I can do is when I tap that, can you all see how I have that H there? And that allows me to reline it up. So now I can write something else on the paper, right? Maybe it's an I because I'm saying hi. I really thought this through, you guys. And then now I can line that up with the H, and I can tap. Once that H is lined up, I can tap and tap again. Do that really quick tap, tap. So I'm only recording like a second, but it's perfectly lined up. And then I tap the onion skin again, and now there's an HI. So I'm building that, but I'm always able to come back to that point where it's lined, and it'll look like it's sort of like a stop motion film once I'm done with it. Does that make sense? And Stephanie says we have it. Great. Because I just explained that for a lot of time. I'm glad you have it.
So it could be.
Yeah, go, Jess. Other applications of that.
So yeah, physical application, like the Anika example. If you just want to capture, let's say, yourself walking through different settings, you can just make sure that you're lined up. This unfortunately requires someone to be filming you in that instance, but line up your physical position based on where you were in the last shot. It could be a thing like a object. So maybe you want to capture the span of a day from the view of your room, but you don't want to leave your phone there all day. So you could do 6 a.m. for 3 seconds and 9 a.m. for 3 seconds and whatever, but you're making sure you're lining up your phone exactly where you captured the last one. Because as you know, you can save drafts. So you could capture a moment and save it in your drafts to finish your reels later. And Scott, I don't know if we're going to show green screen. It is an effect, but it's a great effect for kind of corresponding or talking about your travels.
Let's do that one next.
Okay. But if you, let's say you were, let's go do it, but maybe then we'll explain where alignment makes sense in that scenario.
Yeah. I mean, what's great about the technology is it literally gives you the last frame you shot. So even if you go back in and you edit a little bit backwards, like maybe you didn't nail the end right, like go into the clip, edit it, and then you still use that onion skin, it'll give you literally right perfectly aligned from literally the frame before.
Is Veronica trying to get in?
Yay!
Yay, stop motion.
Stop motion. And that's fun. Like, look, type is one thing, like handmade feel of things. Like, I'm not suggesting that everyone does their @ handle in like stop motion, but like some of that stuff, being playful with some of the ways that you create, it just unlocks other ideas too. So, pushes you outside what you're doing, and just playing with it might spark something else. I am conscious of time because I do want to do one more, and I think green screen is a great segue into this one. And it is actually, I would say, probably the best effect, right? We were talking about how if you all use effects, which we're still going to dig into, like if that's, a true thing, and then find out why. But I think what's great about it is it does teleport you. We see a lot of creators doing things where it's like, this is where I went and this is my thing. And you can speak to like locations or footage if you want to also be a little bit more the voice of your trip and walk people through it. So I'll do that one.
While you're pulling it up, even like itineraries is an awesome use of, creator content's time and space. So if you were to go on a trip and then use green screen to recap your trip, but use it as the itinerary, your recommendations is one way to think about it.
Yep. Okay. So I'm going to let this play out while we talk about it. Actually, I'm going to turn the audio off. Yeah, so essentially, this is going to be a step-by-step process too, but I'm just going to play the video and kind of describe what's happening first, and then I'll turn this off and we'll do it together because there are a few steps. So as you can see from where Juliana starts, there is, you want to, actually what we want to do first, and I'll get to step one before we do anything. What we'll want to do once we get into demoing this is you'll want to actually record yourself in the current background you're at. So what I'm going to do when we go live and record ourselves is I'm just going to record myself. I'm going to step back from my phone and just record myself. You can actually, you know, what's actually probably more ideal is going out of Reels for this first step and just recording yourself with your selfie-facing camera and just do a quick like 10-second clip of you. Maybe what I would suggest we do is you lean in to sort of the frame and maybe lean out so we can kind of feel like there's two
we
people.
just do it with existing video.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you know what? Let's not make this the same thing. Grab an existing video like Tamiko was doing, and we'll make that your background, and then you can put yourself in the foreground. So essentially, the way this works, it's super simple. You'll go into effects. You'll see the search feature. Again, everyone's is going to be a little bit different because we're working on different versions. But you can type in the word green screen and you can find this green screen effect. So it's going to look, there's several, right? Like I do like this one by Instagram. It's one of the better ones. Some just don't like block you out as well. It's just like Zoom, you know, it's got its issues for tracking you. And it does always help to have a little bit of contrast behind you. But once you find that, then you can see Juliana here, like she selects it and then you have this button that says add media and you tap on that. And that's what Jess was saying. Like you can pull in any video that you shot previously. Maybe it's a trip you went on or the twerking video that Tamika was working with yesterday. And then you can change, you can actually then have that one. You can actually edit that one down, but then you can have that one playing behind you as you're recording yourself in the foreground. So you can be talking to the video, you can do whatever. So we're going to do that together and go step by step. But I like Jess's idea of not necessarily making it like something we have to pre-record. So I would do exactly what Jess suggested. So you want to, like, if we're starting something new, I always go back to the timer and make sure everything's set to your normal biz. Like we've been playing with a speed a lot. So just make sure that. And then Jess just showed it. Do you want to pull it back up, Jess?
Yeah.
So Jess, can you show us how you get to that?
Yeah. There's an even easier way to get there, but I'm not going to confuse us in case not everyone can go there. So let me go even back a step.
Yeah, one more step back.
Oh boy.
It should be right here, right? If you have your camera on, you see that sparkle. Yep, that's it.
So that's effects.
Button.
Boop.
If you tap that, this is new, y'all, by the way. Like the fact that window pops up and what's cool in that, there is trending in that. Look, you've got bookmarks, and then tap on the search like Jess just did, and then type in the word green screen.
And then like Scott said, there's a couple in there. The one that's made by our product team is this first one like that. I'd recommend it just because
it works great.
Yeah. Select
so
it.
Then once you what's cool about this view too, I want to point this out, is that once you select it, you can actually try it before you commit to it. And that's what's neat about sort of this split screen view. But once you pick it and tap on it, it will go full screen. Yeah, it's really hard to see when you flip it around because the green screen goes away. But show us what you need to do. Yeah, so what Jess just did is the next step is she tapped on add media. And then you can literally pull in any video you want in the background.
We're going to do the carousel again. So, well, here, I'll just have to film it. Say, this is my son and my husband on a carousel. At Turtleback Zoo, whatever else you want to say.
Now, did you just also get, this is us from last night, wishing somebody a happy birthday. Did you also get the ability to do one more step before that and edit it down if you wanted to?
Yeah,
Did
you
everybody
could.
get that? Yeah.
But let's say if you want to just free form conversation, then it'll cut the video when you're done talking.
Yeah, exactly. It'll just cut it when you're done. Yeah, which is cool too. So you can either pre-plan and be like, I rehearsed this and it's perfect for this 15 seconds, or.
So then how do you get, because I have the green screen in front, but then when I added the other video, it didn't blend together. So what did I do wrong? It's just the green screen and then the new video.
The green screen is it's meant to put you in it. So you would want it self-facing camera.
Correct.
And then
So
when
let me show you, hold on.
Oh, that's what I was saying. Don't film yourself until you pull in the video. You choose the effect.
Oh.
Then you choose your media. Then you film yourself talking as the media plays out.
As the media plays. Got it.
It should be behind you. It doesn't merge. That's a good point.
Okay, got it. Okay, and because I was filming with the green, so you pull the media in and then do the green screen. Is that what you're
this
saying?
is a good distinction too. Like there's a question, how do we add the sound from you, on green screen? It should record your sound and not the sound in the video. Is that what you're asking?
No, Tamiko, when you, okay, let me X out of this silly little thing. So if you choose the green screen effect, I've got it open.
Correct.
You face yourself and you see yourself with green, right?
Uh-huh.
Don't record yet. It says add media.
Media, okay.
So click that.
Everybody, that's
Choose a video or an image that you want behind you. And then you should see your face on top of the image or the video you chose.
Okay, so let me do green screen again. Okay, so then I'm gonna add the media. Okay, hold on. Go back to videos. Okay, and then so now I have and then.
Show me where you're at.
So I have
just say add.
And then add. Oh, and now.
There it is. It
you
should
see
be
yourself
behind
over
you.
it.
Clearly, I'm slow.
That's okay. This is a fun one, but it's not easy. There's
Clearly,
a lot of
I am slow because it's the green, but I didn't see me in it now. So okay, so let's try this again. Okay, so I'm gonna do that's here. Wait a minute.
Wait, where did you press that? Did you choose bottom left corner or did you choose the add media?
I was adding let me go back out and go back in so we can be at the beginning. So I'm on the front of Reels.
Okay, open up the green screen effect.
Okay.
So hit the sparkle button. Hit the sparkle button. And then go to the search.
And then search.
Type
and then the green screen is right front.
Yep, choose
that.
All right, and then that's there.
Great.
Tap at the top to make it full screen.
Okay, and then it's there.
Okay.
And then hit add
so
media.
Above that center circle, it says add media.
Oh, you know what? I was doing it wrong. I was adding
from the corner
down here.
Yeah.
Okay. Add media. Okay.
Now it will work for you.
And then go to videos, and I am going to add. Okay, so here's just one of an airplane going.
So you hold in front of you, and then to answer the question about how do you get sound, you hold the button down and you record yourself. So like it's hard to flip it because then you can't see it. But you basically hold it down to record.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can hear on mine, it's recorded just as audio.
You can see your face on top of.
Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There it is.
Okay,
there's
got
a couple good questions. I mean, Vanessa, I like your comment, especially about curly hair. My daughter has super curly hair, and we've tried this, and it doesn't always work. I think I think what we're trying to do too here is like push creators to make better green screen too. That Instagram one is kind of like a default one, but I think that they're trying, again, anything you can do in the background for contrast and lighting always helps, but you know, hopefully we can keep pushing creators to make it better as well.
Okay, somebody said, Nadine said, I got it too. I've always wondered about this. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
So then the align thing and how that plays into this one is, let's say you want to add, you want to, you know, be talking to either different images. I know the May family travel, they left, but imagine she's got like 10 photos from the trip she wants to share. She can do, you know, choose photo 1, pull it up behind her, film herself saying, this was at, you know, whatever bay after dinner, yada, yada. Stop recording. Then you say add media. That'll save it. You know how they build the layers? Add media. Choose photo 2. It will give you the option to align. So when you're back in green screen, you can align your head exactly as it was in that last video. Hit record, talk about that photo, stop recording. So that's how you would build. Yeah.
See, that's my last frame. I look like I'm like.
Make sure your eyes are half open.
Right.
But that's what it does. It gives you you and it gives you the video, and then you can align that stuff up.
So you can put the picture of the video in there and then talk about whatever, then come back in, hold your head and whatever in the same spot.
Yeah, you want to be like,
and start right, and then press record again and start again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the final video would feel like a seamless thing where you're just talking and someone's controlling the images behind you. Now, by the way, another way to do it, she could create a photo reel and then just pull that in as a video file behind her. But it just depends on how you're working.
Oh, that would even be like good for like I did one previously where I was daydreaming about where I wanted to travel for 2022. And then I could be sitting at my office saying, oh my gosh, I want to be in the Amalfi Coast. I want to be in Mexico. I want to be here, here, here. And then all of the different destinations could be popping up
behind
as I am dreaming about where I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could use, there's a couple builds on that too, Tamiko. Like you could use a dreamy filter and add that effect. And then what you do in Reels is you keep uploading all those things, add a dreamy filter to all of them, and then you export that out, but you just save the video. You don't share it.
Right.
Then you bring that back in as your background. And then you're like, ooh, so you've kind of done that pre-production on the background, made it look dreamy, edited it. And now you've got this really tight thing that you're in front of going like, ooh, I wish I was going here. And then we don't have time for today, but like you can add those text, the pieces that pop up.
Right. Perfect.
Along the way.
We did extend it, but I don't know if people jumped off, but we did extend the time. But I don't know if it's showing the people because it went out of time, but we did extend it for 30 more minutes. But I can't tell. But it was a lot of good questions. Let me see. Let me check and see if everybody.
Yeah, Sally had the question. It's like once you tap, you are recording your audio. So it should work. Once you get the green screen in the background, you tap and record, and it should record your audio as you saw from our example.
Okay. This is perfect. I think that, let me ask if everybody automatically got thrown off because we went over time. And they just said that they're going to extend it for tomorrow as well. Okay. This was so good though.
I mean, we hit a lot of stuff. I think the only thing that from a demo standpoint, the only thing we didn't get to was text to speech, which is super easy. And again, it might fall into that category of like, some people have it, some people don't. It's fairly new, Tamiko. I can do that real quick if people are still on.
Yeah, they are. It's still 17 people that are still on. Yeah, so they are.
Let me share that real quick. I'll show you how it works, and then I'll try to recreate it on my phone. But again, full disclosure, it may be something that you go, cool story, Scott and Jess, but that ain't available on my phone. It will be. It will be, you know, because look, that's the same thing that TikTok has. So it should be. Hold on. Let me show you. So essentially, again,
Did we lose him?
I think we did lose him. Let's see if he'll come right back.
There we go.
Yeah, there he is. Okay.
Maybe. I can open it up.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right. It's one more feature that they have to show us, guys. So give us a few more minutes. Yes. So we want you all to get everything out of this. So give us a few more minutes and we'll get through the last, last feature. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
And for you all too, like I would hope that you guys are cool with this. We'll send pretty much the majority of the deck, especially the how-to videos that then everyone can have like a PowerPoint version of it or whatever, you know, version that you all need. And then it's kind of fun to go back and try it. And they're not perfect like demo videos, but they're enough to kind of get the idea across. Yeah, so this last one is pretty simple. It's just text to speech. So this is, like I said, once you get into the past, you've edited, you've done all the time stuff. Now you're in the final stages of it. You can actually go in once you hit
the
type.
sound of my voice recorded.
Yeah, so you can see that. So let's do that together and let's try it. I'm gonna go back here. Okay, y'all see me? So let's just do a quick one. I'm gonna X out of my green screen. And I'm literally only just I'm just gonna take video and I'm just gonna record myself waving or doing something right now. I'm not gonna put any time lapse or anything on it. It's just a straight video of me. If I review it, it looks like that. I'm talking to y'all waving. So when you record that, just check it real quick and then come back into the thing where you have your preview button, tap preview, and then it'll give you the preview button. But now we're into that area that looks like stories, right? Where you still have the ability to add filter effects and music up top, but you can add type, right? So hit the type button and type, you know, Jess and Scott are awesome, or real school is the best, whatever you want to say, and then or type a sentence, whatever. And I'm just saying real school is the best. And once you type that, you hit done. You should see this thing at the bottom that just says the word real. It's like the beginning of your word. That should be a button. If y'all don't have that, yell at me and say, Scott, this was useless. But if you don't have it, I'm showing you the future. If you do, tap on it. And then you should get sort of like, again, another sort of editing feature of you, but you also get those 3 dots there. Do you see that? If you tap on those 3 dots, it'll say text to speech. And then you can hit either voice 1 or voice 2. And so you can turn up the volume. Is the best waving or doing something right now. So it'll cut me out. Put any time lapse or and it'll say real school is the best. It'll still keep my audio, but during that placement of that type, it will.
Real school is the best.
Real school is the best.
I'm not going to put any doing something right now.
Cool. Did everybody get that? Yes, I have it, but I haven't tried it yet.
I'm not going to put any time lapse or any. Real school is the best. Waving or doing something right now. I'm not going to put any time lapse or any.
Anyhow.
Real school is the best.
Did that work for y'all? So some people don't have it. Is that what I'm getting? Doesn't show the reel feature. Oh, and we lost Jess. So the only things, y'all, that I didn't really cover were remix, which again, if y'all want to play with remix at some point, it's super fun. Now, officially, you can literally remix any video. As of like 2 weeks ago, it used to be you could only remix a reel. Now, if you come across a video and you're like, that's funny, I want to do what they're doing or want to add to it, or I want to create something with a partner creator, they create the video and then it can be a video. It doesn't have to be a reel. And then you can create that on top of it. And the way that it works is pretty simple. You find the video, you play it, and then you go into basically the 3 dots at the on the side to pull up a menu, and remix is sort of in that. I don't know if you have all tried that yet. It's basically duets on TikTok.
Okay. This was excellent, Scott. Thank you so much. I know we went over time, everybody. We're going to allot more time for the next ones, but I think we got so much out of this, so many features that we all wanted to use that we did not know how to use. And I know myself, I am going to start playing with this immediately. And if you guys want to go in, make sure you tag us on what you learned so that we can see what you did. And maybe I can even convince Scott for us to have a learning hour to go back after we've kind of sort of gone through this, that we can kind of go back and see what we did. We so appreciate you today.
Tamiko, I think that's a great idea, actually. Maybe like in a couple weeks, we come back and we make it more of a show and tell, and you talk through, like, maybe you all could even share with us the reels that you've tried. Even if it's like, man, I couldn't get beyond this step, and you send a screen record, we can go and troubleshoot stuff, but we can also be like, it's a fun thing to share and build on ideas. I mean, I think that's one of the best things about working in the space and you all being in the community you are. Like, the more you build off each other and are inspired by each other, and even just Tamiko, you talking about what you were doing, and I was like, oh man, you could do this and this too, and add another layer. Like, that's how things become great. So
there was one thing that none of us, which one was it? Did I take the note on that? It was something nobody had.
It was the time thing at the beginning. So we're going to dig into that.
Okay. Yeah. So again, thank everyone for being here. We really appreciate you all. We hope you all got something out of this today. We hope that you learned so much from Scott and team about all of the features. Again, make sure that you all use them. Make sure once you create your reels, you tag us so that we can see what you're doing. If you have any questions, please let us know. That's why we're here, is to help our community. So again, thank you so much, Scott. Virtual hug to you. Yeah. Yes, virtual hug. So again, thank everybody. We are so appreciative of everybody for coming out today.
Yeah, great meeting you all. Thank you. And thanks for helping us learn too. That's what this is about. It's not a one-way conversation. So more of this, please.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.